Hey NHS, welcome to the November meeting. Today, I'm proud to announce that we have 3 exciting things on today's agenda. The first of which will be Feeding Curiosity, an organization that we're partnering with. Next, we have Search Homeless Services, an organization that will be hosting an item drive. Finally, we have a very special college admission speaker, so stay till the end and don't miss it. Without further ado, let's move forward.
Hey, my name is Salah Dawade and I am the founder and CEO of Feeding Curiosity. Feeding Curiosity is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that aims at providing educational resources to underprivileged learners across the world. My team and I have been working around the clock to organize the 2 projects for the 2020 through 2021 year. And I'm glad to announce that this year we'll be embarking on Project Yemen and Project India for a blind school. First off, students in Yemen have endured a war that has not only destroyed their schools, but a place where they called a second home. In order to combat the shortage of teachers and school supplies, we'll be accepting both monetary and physical donations in order to provide proper technology and other school supplies necessary for their learning. Additionally, blind schools in India are grossly neglected and underfunded. For this reason, we're attempting to both raise awareness and donations for blind schools in India in order to provide those bright students a chance at a proper education. So, how can you help? There are several ways you can make a difference through Feeding Curiosity. First, you can donate through our website. Even $1 can go an extremely long way into making a positive impact in a child's life. Second, you can drive by one of our annual school supply drives and drop off the necessary supplies such as pencils, crayons, notebooks, and erasers. This November, we'll be hosting our 2nd annual Houston Pencil Drive, and if you want to know more details, check the website. Third, you can help raise awareness for Feeding Curiosity by hosting a fundraiser event or telling your friends and family about us. And finally, if you're between the ages of 13 to 18, you can take part in our annual Sparkathon event. Here, the student must raise a question about a world issue they're deeply passionate about and provide a unique solution to that issue. Not only does this lie within the spirit of Feeding Curiosity, but you have a chance at winning a scholarship and other prizes. That being said, education is a fundamental right, and together as a community, we can help bring that to reality.
All right, so I'm just going to help you navigate through the website real quick. So all you have to do is go ahead and search up feedingcuriosity.org. And here is going to take you to the homepage, and you can go ahead and read more about us. And you can see the 4 different projects we're working on right now. And for example, if you want to read more about Project Yemen, you can go ahead and click read more, and it will take you to this page where you can read some more information. Or if you want to learn even more, you can go ahead to this website and read about the situation. And if you'd like to make a donation to this specific project, you can go ahead and say make a donation. And you can pick whatever amount you want or a custom amount, fill in a name and address, and fill out the information and donate. And as for the event, that's going to take place on November 15th, where you can actually earn volunteer hours for, you can go ahead and click on the events tab and go to Pencil Drive. And here you can see the information such as the date, the duration, the time period, and the location, which would be at Overdy Tompkins High School near the 9th grade center. And we will have a booth set up with a banner, so it's going to be pretty easy to see where we're at. And here's some information about the stuff that you can bring for hours. And if you're specifically an NHS at OTHS, if you bring any 2 of these items, you earn 1 volunteer hour. But if you bring any 4 of these items, you can get 2 donations/volunteer hours. And now if you have friends who are also in high school but not at OTHS specifically, please do invite them to come and donate, because we will have forms there specifically for them so that they can also earn hours if they would like to. Also, you can spread this to your community, your family members, and the more donations we get, the better, because we will be putting all of this towards schools around Houston and Yemen. So it would be a great help if you can come by and donate and maybe even earn some volunteer hours. So yeah, we hope to see you there.
Hi everyone, I am Andrea Pena. I am a senior this year at Tompkins High School. I am the Creative Writing Club president, the co-president of the varsity choir here at Tompkins, and the captain of the throwing team for our track program as well. I'm also an extremely proud member of NHS. Last year, I was extremely fortunate in getting to know Miss Molly Martin and the wonderful people at Search Homeless Services, who help displaced Houstonians find job opportunities, childcare services, housing options, and different healthcare services so that they can become contributing members of society and feel more connected to the community which they felt ostracized from. A list of donations will be given at the end of the video that y'all can earn service hours from. But last year was the first year that we did a donation drive with them here through the track team. And this year, Ms. Park was gracious enough to let me bring this to you guys here at NHS and make this our November drive. So I'm really excited for all of you guys' help. I am so ready to see how big this whole thing gets. The donation drop-off day will be December 5th. That's a Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Silver Ranch Pool Pavilion right next to Tompkins High School. I will be there throughout that time to pick up all y'all's donations, and we'll make sure to log everyone who donated and the items that they donated so that y'all can get y'all service hours for that. But this is a really wonderful opportunity for everybody to make a difference here in Houston, help our fellow people in Texas, and really show them that we care, and bonus, earn some service hours. So I really appreciate it. I really am grateful for all of the help that you guys can give, and thank you for this opportunity.
Here are the list of items that you can donate. Now, for our very special college admissions speaker, put your hands together for Ricardo Mondragon. Hey NHS, so today we have a college admissions speaker who can help you guys on the college admissions process. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ricardo Mondragon. I've been working in college, counseling, college advising since about 2011. High achieving students of charter schools first, yes, prep and KIPP students. And now I work privately. So I've been working ever since about 2011 with kids from many different communities. So it's always been fun. It's always a challenge. So thank you for having me.
So first, we're going to start with academics. So basically, the first question we have is that this year, of course, with COVID-19, students are wondering whether they should report their test scores. And basically, what threshold of the college, the incoming class of the college, should they report their ACT and SAT scores?
Okay, that's a great question, because as I speak with parents of the students that I'm working with the caseload I'm working with, it's one thing that it's advertised on a lot of the universities that this year we're not going to accept, or they'll accept it, they'll welcome it, but it's not required. But then in practice, it's something else, because all of my students that I'm working with, this batch, everybody's turning it in. So I think that's going to, and I don't just work with kids from Houston. I have some from North Carolina as well. They come from all over the nation. So everybody's turning in their scores. One thing different, however, is that my high achieving students that have high 1400 SATs, low 1500s, great scores, they're not turning in SAT subject scores. They're not turning in SAT subject scores. So that one has been a difference this year. But yes, I do advise, whether you're, let's say, in the 20th percentile, 15th percentile, you're not in the 10th percentile, you're going to need all the help that you can get. And then if you are in the 5th percentile, in the 2nd percentile, you're still going to need all the help that you can get, because the universities that you're applying to in the 5th or 2nd percentile is going to be a little bit different from students in the 20th. So you're going to need all the help that you can get, but the only place that you can take a little bit easy on is going to be the SAT subject test. But please follow the guidelines of what the university is saying. If the university, again, is saying that they only welcome it and they're not needing it, then yes, do turn in at least the ACT or the SAT regular exam.
Awesome. So basically, another question I had was, how important are academics in terms of SAT and ACT in the overall admissions process? Because it is evaluated holistically these days. It's not like a formula. So how much importance do extracurriculars, essays, and academics play? Well, what's the balance?
It's kind of like a full circle. So if you're going to introduce the application with your academics, in order to even have that application looked at, they're going to look at page 1, and they're going to look at what's been going on with your transcript. If the school indeed is putting a smaller weight on the SAT ACT score, then it's still going to fit into where your transcript is looked at first. So even though COVID did happen this year, it just happened this year. You still had 3 years. You still had 3 years for the seniors of showcasing the work and your ability when things were at a normal level. And then I understand also that 11th graders are welcomed here. Also, you guys in 11th grade, the members, the incoming members for 11th grade, the same thing. Academics are number 1. Please do not base it off solely just an experience. For example, if you're only going to be doing community service work at an elderly home, and let's say you did 20 to 30 hours per week for the past 3 years, that's actually very excellent. That on top of, let's say, a 1350, a 1420 would propel you. But that alone, a wonderful community service like that for the elderly, that alone is not going to do it. You need to be complete in everything that you do.
We can move on to activities more now. So basically, how can students best present their activities in a way that kind of appeals to the admissions officers? What types of activities should they emphasize, and which ones should be near the bottom?
What goes at the top? Your mainstays that you did at least for 2 years. And so you're going to have 2 different applications. You're going to have Applied Texas and then the Common App. Applied Texas is a little bit more involved than the Common App, believe it or not. Applied Texas, so you're going to have community service, extracurriculars, and then awards, right? You're going to have awards on the bottom of page 7. It's page 7 on Applied Texas. So you're going to want to have your mainstays for community service and activities. Applied Texas. So have Applied Texas, you have the Common App, and you have your extracurricular activities. Your mainstays, I would define them as 2 years or more, 2 years or more. And that's fine. Okay, you're thinking, okay, that makes sense. But what is something that will stand me out? One part that will stand you out that I've seen my really high achieving kids, the kids that end up at Berkeley, the kids that end up at Stanford, kids that end up over at UT. I'm here in Austin, UT touring the honor program for computer science, touring one of the best in the nation. Self-learning classes. Are you on Udemy? And then there's so many, right? That's just one that pops into my head. But as I look at their resumes, right? They have a lot of self-learning classes, and it doesn't need to all be in computer science. I know everybody looking at this is, okay, I'm not a computer science person. I know this person is, but there's lots of self-learning that could be done.
Is it important for a student to be well-rounded, or be like having a very angular interest where they're like very specialized in one thing?
Well, there's going to be a student for each, because I don't want to say it's more important to be this and then you weren't, and then you're like, no, I went the wrong way. You just have to sell yourself really well. If you're in 11th grade and you have the opportunity to do something with the university, and let's just go A&M, right? A&M's around the corner, not very far. They have all sorts of events. If you put yourself in contact with the universities, it really does count for something. If you start to remember the names of these contact persons, it counts for something. And then I'm going to go to the Babsons, I'm going to go to the Yales, I'm going to go to the Emorys, right? So as we go further reach, if you start to contact the folks and try to do events there, even if it's virtual, and you start to remember their names and remember your names. Now, don't overdo it, but those things do count, that show of interest. They have a rubric. and they tally up all the points. And, there's going to be an admissions officer counselor that's fighting for you, because they all sit in a table. And once they go through the 90% of, these are our automatic admits, even for the big universities, they're going to discuss and fight for the 10%, and each is going to bring their 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 students that they want to vie for. So you have to give reason to that university. So being well-rounded or versus not, you already are what you are. You can't change it. So I'm not going to say choose one camp over the other.
Okay, we can move on to the essays. One thing that students usually have confusion on is like, what exactly should they write in their essays? Like, should they convey a slice of their personality? Should they convey their values and beliefs that embody who they are? Like, should it be more objective, or should it be more storytelling, or a combination of everything?
Okay, I can tell you the best practices versus not. You need to answer the prompt. You need to answer the prompt. SAA on Applied Texas, UT, A&M. What's a challenge in your life, right? A challenge. You have to write what's a challenge that you've experienced, right, in the last 4 years of high school. So that's what it's about. You can't base it all around elementary all the way through middle school and make it chronological order. Maybe it could be an intro of something that you got into from elementary or from middle school. And also another thing, please don't do. Some of you are inspired by people. It could be a grandmother, it could be your mom, father, it could be a best friend. And sometimes students end up writing so much about them that the essay looks like it's about them rather than you, of how much you admire them, how much hard work they do, how much perseverance they have, how much they showed you, how they grew up, and then all of a sudden it's not about you. It has to be about you. Keep it teenager, right? Keep it a little bit teenager. If you have your parents helping you with the edits, if you have your parents' professional friend helping you with the edits, try for it to still not look so adult, right? Try for it to be uniquely you, but it has to answer the prompt.
Okay, so what types of tips do you have for the essay style? I mean, you kind of addressed it with the teenager, but are there any tips you have for the essay style? Like, should it be more casual or should it be more formal? That kind of thing.
Every single person that's watching this is very different. Some of them are very technical and very specific, and they're going to answer A happened, and then B happened, and then C happened. It's very clear. And then others are going to have some wonderful hooks and some intros, some dialogue, onomatopoeias, all sorts of stuff, very visual, word picture, and that's fine. Either style is fine. So get ready to have about 30 to 50 pages of essays on your Google Doc, normal stuff. Not every page you're going to have to write it, but it'll be draft 1, 2, and 3 of SAA, for example. And then some essays you might end up recycling, especially when you get to the supplementary parts. UT is going to have a lot of supplementary. Stanford's going to have a lot of supplementary. You're going to have some that are just, in 5 words, describe yourself. But then you're going to have another university that's going to have in 5 sentences, describe yourself. So be prepared to sort of reuse, but retouch some of those essays. One thing, if you are not satisfied with your essay, it's okay to trash it. It's okay to can it. If you've worked with somebody, a friend, a parent, whoever it may be, and y'all wrote an essay and y'all spent 3 to 5 hours in 3 to 5 sessions writing it, and you're not satisfied, it's okay. Let it go. But just try not to do it like the day before an application is due.
Right. And how can students stand out with their essays? Like, is there a way to, like, for example, for students to wow the admissions officers, be like, oh, that's a unique perspective with the essay?
So there's 2 things that are going to go on. Sometimes essays are very dull. You'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell if your essay is very dull, especially if you can compare it amongst other students. That's one part. And another part is that sometimes in your own life, you've had some amazing things happen, but you forget that they even happened, or you don't know how to word it, and you don't even include it, right? Um, so there's two things going on. You might be more awesome than you give yourself credit. And the other one is um, this essay is got a lot of competition, right? So you need to see what the market for essays out there is, and make sure that yours stands out amongst the others. But again, you have to compare yourself to others, so it's okay to look online for that specific prompt to see what others have written.
Okay, so this year, colleges have an optional COVID essay, and like that's been giving some students some stressors. So should they write the optional COVID essay that sometimes shows up on applications this year?
So for some of my high achieving students, we've skipped that because it's a small supplementary. I've seen it at the end of the application on the supplementary questions. Now, here's what's going to happen. Pay attention. This is going to apply if in your life before you're already taking the bus, you're already taking care of a sibling, um, those hardships, right? Like you're in the honor society, but you have hardships. That's not going to be every honor society student. It's not going to be every, but it's going to be some of you. Now, if COVID hits on top of those hardships, I guarantee that whatever hardships that you're going through are absolutely magnified. So you must speak about it if you already had those hardships. But many of us, the only thing that was missed I'm working with students, the only thing that was missed was going to test masters, right? Because they closed the test prep. Was going to the Princeton review because they closed the test prep. That's like literally the only hardship. That, and maybe there was no summer program. Now those aren't necessarily COVID hardships, right? Everybody got cut out from those things. But the hardships were the ones that you already had before COVID, and then COVID exacerbated them.
Okay, I think we're done here. So on the behalf of the NHS, we'd like to thank you for coming. Also, if students want to contact you, what was your contact details again?
Well, I'll give you my email. What I like about college counseling is that for as much as it's sort of the same thing as it was last year, many times it's not. Whatever may have happened last year of what the university requires, what they want, their essay prompt, their SAT scores, you kind of have to erase most all of it because every year there's a policy change. And this year we got COVID. So across the board, everything changed. But you can always pick up the phone and hear it straight from the horse's mouth, which is that prospective university, and ask them, what is it that they need? Do they need, last year they needed super scores on SAT. This year, do they need it or not? Do they need all the sittings of the SAT, or can you just send them the one highest one? And so forth. So if you're never sure about what a university needs, it's okay. Just pick up the phone and you can call them. And I'll leave my contact information with you, Sadish. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Good luck, everybody. You got this. 2020, a year to remember. Oh my God.